today as always. So we're going to jump in and have some fun. But we'd love to hear from you. So whether you're here live or on replay, comment below and say hi. And we'd love a thumbs up if you're enjoying the program. Today we are welcoming back the creator of Mindful Circle, Rachel Rush. She created Mindful Circle to bring the practice of mindfulness and yoga to families and school. Rachel's goal is to help students live in the present moment and enjoy life. So without further ado, I bring Rachel in. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. Welcome back. I am so happy that you're here. So we're just going to jump in. This is session number 3 with you. Wow, we're already on week number 3. This is incredible. So whoever you came with, get comfortable. I know that Rachel's going to have you up and down and all around. So get ready because it's time for yoga time. Here we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for yoga today. We're going to start off with a little bit of mindfulness, and this is a mind-body connection class because whatever's happening in our bodies affects our minds, and whatever's going on up in our minds affects our bodies and how we feel. So yoga and mindfulness is a great way to practice feeling good and to live in the present moment. So I brought with me today a mind jar, which is just made out of glitter and water. And it's a metaphor, which means it represents our minds. So right now, can you see through the jar clearly? Maybe a little bit, but it's pretty foggy. So when our minds are really full of big thoughts and big emotions, sometimes it's hard to think clearly, to make decisions, or to communicate well. But if you notice, as we sit and breathe and just take a moment to be still, what's happening to the jar? Can you see through it? Yeah, so not all of the thoughts and emotions are gone. They're still there, but we've cleared out space for our minds to think nice and clearly. So let's try this together. I'm going to shake the jar and we'll take 3 deep breaths together and just notice if the jar clears, and we'll notice how our mind feels as well. So here we go. I'm going to shake it up. It's full of big emotions like excitement or frustration or happiness. All right, here we go. Let's take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3. Okay, did the mind jar clear? How do you feel? How does your mind and body feel? So we still have a little bit of the glitter floating around, and there's some settled to the bottom because our thoughts and emotions are part of us. But now our minds are a little bit clearer, just like the jar. So this is something you can do at home. On the handout that comes along with this video today, there's a link to show you how to make your own mind jar at home. All right, now let's start getting into some movements. So we'll back up a little bit, and we're going to start on our mat sitting crisscross, and we'll take a big deep breath in, reaching up overhead, bringing our hands together, clasping our fingers together and reaching up to the sky. We'll take a big inhale here, lengthening our bodies up and stretch over to the side. Good. And inhale, come back up, exhale to the other side. You can take a few more of these on your own, just going back and forth. Should feel good in your shoulders. And then we'll bring our arms down. And then you'll take one hand and cross it over to the opposite knee and take your back hand around, giving your spine a nice twist here. And then you'll bring this back hand up, cross it over the other knee, and bring this hand back around and twist to the opposite side. Good, getting a nice stretch here. And then bringing it back. And we'll take one more stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Take one deep breath here. Maybe take a moment to notice how your mind feels. Are you excited or curious or ready to move your body? However you're feeling is perfectly fine. We're just noticing it today as we move our bodies. Okay, so let's come into tabletop. So our hands are directly under our arms and our knees are directly under our hips, and we'll tap our feet on the ground so we remember to push our feet into the mat too. And from here, we're going to bring our heart forward and our hips back and come into cow pose. And feel free to make any sound effects if you've got a good cow sound to make. And then we'll come down, rounding our back, tucking our chin to look back at our knees or our toes. Coming into cat pose. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, coming up to cow. Exhale, coming into cat. Inhale, coming into cow. And exhale. This time when you come into cat, really push your knees and your feet and your palms into the mat. Good. And we'll do a few hip circles. So bringing our hips back to our heels and coming around. Just warming up our body. Letting our minds calm down. And then we'll take it in the other direction. Switch it around. How's that feeling, everyone? You can go faster or slower and have some fun. Okay, so now we're going to push our palms into the mat and come into downward facing dog, which some of you might be familiar with. We'll push our palms, all 10 fingers into the mat, tuck our toes, and come up into downward facing dog. Good. And then you can just stretch out your legs, bending one knee at a time. I usually warm up the same way for every class. All right. Ooh, that's feeling good today. And our ears are right in between our biceps here, which is the top part of our arm. And then we're going to bend our knees, and you can walk or hop to the front of your mat, just like that. And then we're going to hang down low. Our feet are about hip width distance apart. And you can get out your elephant trunk if you want and sway it side to side. And then switch arms. And we're going to slowly, slowly roll up, as slow as a sloth, all the way up. Good, and we'll stand in mountain pose. So mountain pose, today we're going to go over a few basic yoga poses, and I'll show you how you can put them all together into a flow, which is really fun. In mountain pose, this pose looks super simple, but we're going to push our feet into the mat. We're going to reach our fingertips out like they're shooting light out into the world. And we're tuck our tailbone in and move our tummy muscles in. So it's like you're bringing your belly button into your back. And then we'll spread our collarbone, our shoulders, and reach the top of our head up to the sky. Can you feel that? Oh, I feel nice and strong like a tall, tall mountain. All right. So then we're going to bring our hands to our heart center, reach all the way up, and then fold back down. And this time we'll lift up halfway. So you can bring your hands to your shin and look down. And then we'll place our palms on the mat, hop back, and lower all the way down, coming into Bhajangasana, which is a fun Sanskrit word. It means cobra. So we'll place our palms on the mat, squeeze our elbows in, lift our chest off the mat, and you can hiss like a baby cobra. From here, we push our feet into the mat, push into our palms, and lift our bodies off the mat, coming into upward facing dog. And then you can tuck your toes and push back into downward facing dog. So that's our warm up. We're going to try it a little bit faster this time. And you can follow me or go at your own pace. So we're going to bend our knees, look to the front of our mat, hop up, and then we'll lean forward, tickle our toes, halfway look up, Then we're going to exhale and forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And to exhale, come into that strong, strong mountain pose. How's everyone doing? Ooh, I can feel my heart beating a little faster. My mind's a little bit more excited. All right, we're going to reach all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll come up halfway. Then we're going to exhale, plant our palms down, hop back, lower all the way to the mat. Inhale, come up to Cobra Bhadragasana. And then we'll push back into downward facing dog. I didn't do upward facing dog that one, but that's all right. Okay, so let's shake out our knees a little bit. Bending one, bending the other. Walking our dog. Good. And then we're going to bend our knees and place our feet together and then sit back into child's pose. Taking a nice deep breath here. Maybe feeling your heartbeat. Notice if it's beating fast. Noticing how our minds feel. Good. And then we'll come up to tabletop. And anytime you need a break, child's pose is a great way to do it. So for parents or kids, you can always take a break in child's pose. So today we'll go over a few really fun poses that are standard yoga poses, and then I'll show you how you can put some of them together. And maybe you can come up with your own ways to create your own yoga flow. All right, so some of these poses, if you've watched the other classes, you will already know. So we're going to start with our warrior poses, which is also called Virabhadrasana. Can you say Virabhadrasana? All right, so our first one we'll do, we can go in order. We'll do warrior one. So our front foot is facing forward and our back foot is at an angle. It's parallel. So that means it's in line with the edge of our mat. So it's this way. Front foot is this way, back foot's this way. And our heels are in line. We bend our front knee, place our arms out, and gaze forward. So actually, my bad, our arms are up and we're gazing forward. I was jumping ahead. So this is warrior one. All right, we push our feet into the earth. How's everyone doing with warrior one? Good. So now we'll go to warrior two, which I was jumping ahead to. And all we do is we bring our arms out and we want our heel and our arch of our foot, the middle of our foot, to be in line. And then we'll push forward. So these are really similar. And maybe some of them will be easier or harder for you. You can just feel it out. And then warrior three, which I know is a favorite because it's a balancing pose, is where we push down onto one foot using all the strength in our leg to lift up, hinge forward. And you can bring your hands to your heart center, out wide to be an airplane, or for an extra challenge, you can even bring them in front of you. Good. And from there, I'm going to step back, come back to my warrior two, and then we'll face forward and bring our toes out to the side and come into goddess pose. You guys remember goddess pose from last week? Good. So this is really good for stretching out our hips. Okay, and another one that's like goddess pose, we're going to hop back up. 1, 2, 3, hop, is frog pose. So this is also called a yogi squat. We're going to come all the way down and squat down. Can anyone think of why I like to call this frog pose? I wonder why. So you can even add a few hops to this frog pose if you'd like. So you can hop up and down. You can hop around your living room right now. If you feel like it, go ahead and hop a little bit. Very nice. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can come back to your mat. Good, and I'm gonna show you a couple more poses and then we'll put them all together. Okay, so let's shake it out. Shake out those legs. Shaking them out. Good. So another one that really works our legs out is chair pose. So we'll place our feet about hip width apart, and then we bring our arms up and sit back. into this pose, and you can sit all the way back into your heels, and your toes can even come off the mat. I wonder why this is called chair pose. Why is this one called chair pose? Maybe you can tell a family member right now. Ooh, I feel my legs burning, so I'm going to straighten my legs and just hang low here. All right. And another pose that we're going to try to add into this today is really fun. It's called dancer pose. So dancer pose is another balancing pose, just like warrior three. So what we'll do is we will come into warrior three, and we're going to grab our back ankle, reach our opposite arm long, and start to just shift forward and kick your foot into your hands. Coming into dancer. Keep pushing. And if you fall out of this pose, it's totally fine. We're just trying out new things. How did that one go? All right, so I'm going to do all these poses and put them all together on the other side since we already worked out one side of our body. Are you ready to try it? We're going to move a little bit faster. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start in our warrior two pose. Remember, our arms are out wide. Good, bend into that front knee. And from here, we're going to do dancing warrior. So we're going to lift our arm up and back, coming into reverse warrior. And then we'll exhale, bring this arm forward, lift this arm up and over for side angle. Good, let's try that a couple more times. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, come into side angle. Good, and then we're going to turn our feet. Can you guess which one we're going to do? Do you remember? This one is goddess pose. So we'll come into goddess pose. You can shift from side to side, move it around, see how low you can go. Maybe it feels a little bit better up here. Good. And then we'll come back up, hands on our hips, lean forward with a flat back for a stretch. You can bring your arms down. And this is just a wide-legged stretch. And then we'll come all the way back up, and we're going to hop our feet together. Good. And we'll come into warrior two on the opposite side. So coming into warrior two. And we'll inhale, bring our arm up for that dancing reverse warrior. Exhale, bring your arm to your leg, top hands overhead. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, come forward into side angle. Good. Do you remember what was next? We're going to come back to warrior two, and then we'll turn our feet. And this time, instead of goddess pose, we're going to come into our frog pose. Frog pose, if you want to do a couple of hops, go right ahead. And just notice, how's your mind feeling now? My mind's feeling pretty alert, excited, energized, especially if you get a few hops in there. Place your hands on the mat and look down, stretch it out, and roll up. And we'll try to come into warrior one. So let's do warrior one pose. So it's just like warrior two, but we are facing forward. And then from warrior two, we're going to slowly push off that back leg, really practicing with our balance and coming up into warrior three. Did I get those mixed up again? So we went from warrior one to warrior three. There we go. How's your balance today? Check it out. Whoop, sometimes I fall out of these too, which is totally fine. We just want to try to get right back into it. Good. All right. Now let's try that on the other side. So we'll do warrior one on this side, facing forward. Good. Really pushing both feet into the mat. And then we'll bring our hands to our heart center. Push off the back leg onto our front leg. Coming into warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. You can bring your arms out wide. Move them forward. Or if this is too much for you, you can really bend that front leg and just keep your leg down like this. Or hold on to something next to you, like a stool or a couch. Good, and we'll come back down. All right, how's everyone feeling? Are you being challenged by these poses? There's always more you can do. So let's try one more pose, which is a favorite. And this is another standard yoga pose. It's called Vrikshasana or tree pose. So we'll stand on one of our legs, bring up the other knee, turn it to the side, and then place it on the inside of our thigh. And if this is a little challenging for you, you can always bring it down to your calf or your ankle. Hands are at your heart center, and try to find one point in the room that's not moving that you can look at. That will help with our balance. And then we'll grow our tree branches up, sway them around. Good. And then bring your hands back to your heart center and place that foot back down on the ground. Shake it out a little bit, move around. All right. Let's try it on the other side. So bringing up the opposite leg, knee comes out wide, and then you can place your foot on your leg wherever it works for you. Hands are at your heart center. Let's take a deep breath here. As you stare at one point in the room, notice how your mind feels, how your body feels. Maybe it's feeling strong and powerful. Maybe we're feeling a little wobbly. We can reach our arms up high. Remember, however you feel is perfectly fine. We're just noticing how we feel today. Good, and then we'll bring our hands back to our heart center. Foot back down, and then we're going to jump around a little bit. Loosen up, loosen up. All right, everyone. So I think we only tried dancer on one side. So let's try that dancer pose on the other side. You'll notice that it kind of changes. Some side feels really good. Some sides feel a little tricky. So I'm going to try it on this side, on my left foot, and then I'm going to put my right foot into my hand. Bring my left arm forward, gaze forward at one point, and push my foot into my hand. And come into dancer. Woo! All right, how did we do? Good. I think it's awesome that everyone's trying these poses because some of them are really challenging. Okay, friends, so let's bring it back down to the mat. Now that we've gotten our heart rate up, we're going to bring it back down. So we'll stretch out both legs out in front of us. And we're going to inhale, bringing our arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Take in 2 deep breaths here. Good. And then we'll come back up, and we're going to face the front of our mat and come down to our mat, laying on our mat, and we'll hug our knees into our chest. And then you can take both knees over to the right side of your body and bring your left arm out long and look over at that left shoulder to the left hand, taking a deep breath here. Noticing your body calming down from all the hard work you just did. And then we'll bring our knees back up to center and bring them over to the other side, the left side, bringing our right arm out long, gazing over our right fingertips. I can feel my body calming down. My mind is becoming a little bit more slow and calm. And then we'll hug our knees into the center, reach our feet up high, and grab our feet for happy baby. Your knees can stay bent, and we'll rock side to side here just for a few moments, massaging our back, noticing our thoughts and feelings. And then we're going to take in one more tight squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Give yourself a big loving hug today for all your hard work. And then we're going to exhale and let everything go. Laying back in our final resting pose called Shavasana. And I invite you to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And just feel your breath moving through your body. Maybe you can feel your belly rising and falling, or your chest rising and falling. And take a moment here to appreciate yourself for trying a new yoga class. And maybe think about one thing that you really like about yourself. It can be something small or something big, something you're proud of that's special to you. And we'll take another deep breath here. And then you can roll over to one side just for a moment. And then push yourself up to a seated position. When you're ready, and we'll take one more big deep breath in together, bringing our arms up, exhaling our arms down. And for our final breath, we'll bring our arms all the way up. Big inhale, bringing our hands together and bringing our palms through our forehead, our nose, our lips, and landing in our heart center. And together we will acknowledge the teacher in all things around us, and especially the teacher within each and every one of us. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.
That was so wonderful. I kind of want to get out of my seat and do this with you. So I'm going to watch this program afterwards. You're amazing. You're amazing. And I know that we have a handout, and you talked about the jar. So we've got it up here. And in order to go get your own copy, I'm going to encourage you to go over to onceuponastorytime.live and go and get your download. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost anything, and it's a great add-on to this wonderful class that we just did. I know that we are always asked, how do we get in touch with the instructors? So I'm going to give them some ways to get in touch with you. They can go visit you at your website, www.mindful-circle.com. They can also go follow you on Facebook if they are Facebookers, and they go to Mindful Circle FB. And then they can follow you. If you're an Instagrammer, they can follow you there as well at Mindful Circle. And finally, you have a YouTube channel, which is so cool. Go and check it out. Just search for Mindful Circle and you will find Rachel. She's there. And one more thing that I'd like to encourage you to do, one of the things that we use when we're doing yoga is a yoga mat. It helps us. I think it's more comfortable than being on a hard floor. And so I'm going to encourage you to go check out the Kids Corner .store, because we have this yoga mat as well as some other things that will make your yoga experience amazing. And I just want to thank everyone, because I know that you have a choice and you chose to spend it with us today. Rachel, how cool is that?
So cool. Thank you.
Today and even on replay. Now, guys, we have wonderful programming that goes every single day except for Monday, Tuesday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time for interactive programming. And we've got a great lineup for next week. On Tuesday, we're welcoming back Madeline Sherrick, who will be reading from her book, Superheroes Club. And Rachel, of course, you're going to be back with us next Friday for another yoga section. I can't wait. How about you? So give somebody an awesome day today, and we'll see you next week on Once Upon a Story Time, Once Upon a Yoga Time. We'll see you then.